Hey, what is going on, Pisces? Butch Tarot here. I am going to do your March read. It is a general read, so it may not resonate with everyone. It is for the month of March. It is for your Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. I actually highly recommend it. Sometimes when I comment on things, I find it more therapeutic than anything. But like I've said before, I always try to get back to the comments. I try to, read them all. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, but I loved all. One of the things I actually didn't expect when doing, my channel, when starting it, is how many people will react to each other, and in encouraging ways. You see all these things on the internet, and people can be toxic. And that was one of my worries. But people can also surprise you. And that was a pleasant surprise for me, because I see a lot of encouraging conversation going on. People making comments and people commenting, and I don't see the toxicness. The toxicity isn't there, and I love that, so let's keep that going, because it doesn't help anybody. Anyway, with all that being said, let's get it. Universe, what message do we have for Pisces for March 2025? All right, Pisces. Let's go. So the first thing I see, Pisces, I feel this energy coming towards you, but it's not a new energy. I feel like this is someone you have a history with. I feel like this is someone that you had an incredibly strong connection with. So I definitely feel like this is familiar. But their energy has changed. It's... They're not quite the same person they were before. And I feel like that's going to benefit both of you moving forward. I mean, I feel like before... I feel like this person... I mean, we start off with the Five of Pentacles. I feel like this person you had a connection with, and I feel like this person disappeared, ghosted you. Got the struggle between hot and cold, and cold kind of won out. I don't feel like this ever really ended, at least properly. And I feel like there's a very, very good explanation of why it didn't feel like it ended. I don't feel like it did. It definitely didn't for this person. I feel like this person had a hard time. They felt something for you that you knew. I mean, you knew it. With that High Priestess, you knew this person. There was more to how they felt about you than they told you. And trust your intuition, Pisces, because, like I always say, Pisces have great intuitions. Don't always listen to them, but their intuition is great. They're highly intuitive. I feel like this person, they're in this self-imposed prison. You know, and what I'm going to tell you, I feel like it may come as a shock to know that this person felt this way about you. Because like I said, the self-imposed prison, that's all about like hiding yourself away. I mean, the self-imposed prison, the idea of it is the fact that you have the key in your pocket. You can let yourself out anytime you want. You know, I one of the problems with deep connections, which I see this as, when you have an incredibly deep connection with someone, we don't always react the same way. You know, sometimes people that they don't understand it. They feel it, but they don't understand what it is. It makes them feel, you know, some sort of way. The feeling can get complicated. You know, not quite understanding it, not knowing what to do with it. And I feel like that was part of this person's problem. But it wasn't the only problem. I feel like the deeper they fell for you, which I feel like they really did fall for you, the deeper they fell for you, the more anxiety that caused them. That doesn't sound great, but let's work through it before you shoot the messenger, okay? So that late nights, that anxiety, the Nine of Swords, that fearfulness, you know, the problem with falling in love, truly falling in love with someone, is it comes with a request. It comes with a demand, better yet. And that demand is to be vulnerable. You gotta be vulnerable. And a lot of people fear that. And I feel like this person more than any, because I feel like they've been betrayed before. You know, you gotta be vulnerable. You gotta be willing to be vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, a lot of people fear being vulnerable because it leaves them open. It leaves them open to get hurt. It leaves them open to be judged. It leaves them open to have things used against them. And I feel like this person opened up to someone in the past and they had it used against them. You know, definitely a masculine energy here. And I feel like it's more of a, in my opinion, it's more of a guy problem. Because we're taught from a very young age not to show emotion, and sometimes when we do find someone we show emotion to and we get stomped on for it, it's almost like doubling down, moving forward. You know, I feel like this person, they were looking at the negatives instead of the positives. You know, they were seeing the cups that were spilled over, but not the cups that were upright. They saw what they could lose. They saw the worst case scenario, but they weren't seeing the best case scenario. They weren't seeing what they were gaining. Now, this person hasn't stopped thinking about you. They only think about you. And I mean, I feel like this person regrets the way this happened. You know, unfortunately, sometimes we have to lose the best thing that ever happened to us for us to realize that that's what it was. I feel like this is exactly the emotion this person's going out. Losing you has brought out emotions that this person didn't even know they had. You know, that regret with that Five of Swords. We have the Death card. Huge transformation in this person. Seeing things a lot more clearly and a lot more differently. With that Hangman. Seeing things in a different perspective. You know, I feel like this person... before there was this defensiveness, but I feel like they were defending the wrong thing. You know, they were defensive with the Nine of Wands, the Eight of Swords, holding back, self-imposed prison, defending it. They realized they were defending the wrong thing. And that's what leads us to this read. You know, I feel like this person is putting a lot of work in to coming back to you. You know, I feel like they're going to open up communication with you, and I feel like they're going to really put in the work. You know, because they know what they've lost, and they don't want to lose it completely. They don't feel like it's completely lost, and they're going to do their best to make it right. You know, I mean, they're not just coming back to be your friend either. I mean, they want something more from this. You know, they know they have to establish that trust with you. They know they have to gain that, but they don't want to have boundaries with you anymore. They don't want to hold back anymore. They know where that got them. And that hurt a hell of a lot more than anything they could imagine moving forward, being vulnerable. You know, people always think it's a sign of weakness to be vulnerable. It's a sign of weakness to be in love. You know, some people have this idea that, you know, that's being in love or being open to love and showing love is some sort of weakness. What they don't realize is how messed up that is. Showing love, being capable of showing love, giving love, expressing love, and accepting love is strength. It gives you strength. It makes you strong. Like I said, I mean, this person knows what they want. They always did. You know, their feelings for you have only gotten stronger. And they don't want to be without you anymore. And like I said, they don't want to have the boundaries. They don't want to put up those walls anymore. They want them to come down, and they know you can. If anyone's getting through that wall, it's you. Like I said, this connection was deep before, but it only gets deeper at it because now we have we have them acknowledging it, we have them working at it, we have them, opening up communication and wanting this. They didn't see what they had before, but they see it now. And they just hope to hell it's not too late. With that Lover's card, it's a deep connection. And I know it's, with the iceberg love, I like to coin the phrase iceberg love when it comes to Lover's cards because we can see something. Now, some people see the iceberg sticking out of the water and they get closer because they want to see more of it. They want to see what's really lies beneath. And some people see the iceberg and they steer away. It's fear. Fear of the unknown. Like I said, I'm not giving men excuse. In my perspective, it's a very much more of a man problem. Now, I'm not saying it's not a woman problem, but it's more of a man problem because we are brought up to kind of hide our feelings and not share them. And then what happens is maybe the first time or, early on, they express some sort of emotion and it gets weaponized. Now we all become victims of being weaponized emotionally. It's something that people do. And unfortunately, it does shut us all off. But what I'm saying is when it comes to men, I feel like it's I may be way off. We'll talk about this in a minute. I may be way off. This person wants to protect you instead of protecting themselves. They want to protect what you have together rather than just protecting themselves. Like I said, that defensive energy they gave you before, feeling like they had to protect themselves from you, that's over. With that Emperor, it's that very protective, protecting what they have with you rather than protecting themselves from you. Establishing that trust. They're seeing things in a different perspective. Like I said, I see this huge transformation in this person. And without falling for you, they would never have had it. They would never have had that transformation. It's not ideal, the route this connection has taken. I'll give you that. Getting from point A to B sometimes isn't pretty. But once we get to B, we're not looking back at A. Like I said, I feel like this is going to shock you that this person's... how this person really feels. But I feel like this was meant to come full circle. I feel like a part of you knew that that wasn't the end. You know, never really got closure because I don't feel like it was the end. You know, what I see is a new beginning here. You know, I have the World card. Everything comes full circle, you know, been there, done that, time to move forward. And I see a lot of emotional fulfillment in that. Like I said, I feel like this person is going to show up for you. They are going to put in the work. You know, they don't want to have that boundaries. They want, you know, before they were just resorting back to their safe place. But their safe place was missing one thing. You. You know, they went and hid in their little cave, and their cave was really lonely. And they don't want to go back there by themselves. You know, they want to be in their happy place, and their happy place is with you. You know, with this person, we have Aries and Sagittarius, Cancer and Pisces, Gemini and Aquarius, Virgo and Capricorn. So anyway, get back to my point where I stick my foot in my mouth. This is just my perspective, just as my opinion, and this is something I've kind of accumulated from talking. You know, I've always been a very good talker. I've always been one of those people that a lot of my friends feel very comfortable talking to, because I mean, I feel like I'm just an open-minded person, and I don't judge. So I feel like I put out this persona that it's easy to talk to me, which it is. You know, and I know how to keep a secret. But, so from my experience, men, boys, are taught from a very young age to not express feelings. A lot of them are. Some aren't. Some have more of an open, loving, you know, expressive family. So this doesn't include everybody. This is not a one-size-fits-all. But on the whole, from my experience, a lot of boys are encouraged by family and socially to keep their feelings to themselves. Now, move ahead to when they get in the age when they start dating. Then it's almost like they need to be reprogrammed, and some people aren't easily reprogrammed. Now they're being told to express feelings. And like I said, the first time they express feelings to the wrong person, it's almost like that sets them back even further. I've been there. You know, I was in a relationship where, I mean, I grew up in a very loveless family. Not that they weren't, you know, not to say that my mom wasn't caring or my sister wasn't caring or my brother. We just never talked about love. We never said that we loved each other. My dad's never said it to me in my whole life. And, you know, we're not huggers. You know, we just never really had any kind of, you know, and like I said, I'm not knocking my parents, because they provided a roof over my head and they fed me. You know, they gave me clothes, they fed me, and they put a roof over my head. But yeah, so when I got older, you know, just around high school, you know, I kind of fell for this girl, and it was the puppy love, and it was the first one. And you know, she was always at me. She's like, why don't I know how you feel about me? Why don't you ever tell me? And it's just, it was constant. And I really struggled with it. But I eventually gave in and started to try to open myself up. And then we ended up breaking up. Not because of that, obviously, but when we broke up, then everything I told her in confidence was blasted everywhere. She told everybody. So it took me a long time to get over that. Now, in the case of my experience with talking to the female gender, women and girls, they're not as suppressed emotionally. They're not taught suppression as much emotionally when they're young. But that doesn't stop them from getting scarred early on by the wrong person. And that's when they start learning to hold back. When it comes to males, especially, toxic masculinity, they're taught from pretty much birth to suppress. And then when the one time they open up, they get stomped on, and it's like, nope, never doing that again. It's like always being taught that fire is going to burn you. Don't go around fire, you'll get burned. Don't go around fire, you get burned. Don't go around fire, you get burned. From the time you're born, one day you see fire, you go near it, you get burned. When it comes to like females, I feel like it's not as, it's almost like nobody told you about fire. Nobody explained that it can burn you. They just taught you how to be around it. I don't know. I think that can be. I feel like I need a whole video just to explain this, because I feel like it's not coming out right. But like I said, with me, it took me years to get over. And I still have issues with trust because of the fact that it's like you get to a place where you feel vulnerable and you just want to tell that person everything. You want to run to the top of the mountain and scream that you love them and tell them everything they want to know and have these deep conversations with them. But then there's part of you in your mind being like, if you do this, they could hurt you. And it's getting past that mentality. I'm obviously a lot better than I was, but it's that fear. That fear that keeps us from getting and having what we need and want. It can be crippling. But like as in this read, I feel like sometimes love has to win. It won't take the loss. But anyway, be good. Take care. Stay safe.